So it says here, to be joined by her husband, James Brown, but he is not buried here. Looks like there's definitely was room, but he was not buried here. I'm going to show you that next.
I know you gonna dig this. Get funky with me.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to downtown Augusta. Here I am on Broad Street, Augusta, home of one of the greatest entertainers of all time, James Brown. I don't know what that noise is. It sounds like an ice cream truck. It is wild. What is happening? But the James Brown statue downtown is something you have to see. In this video, I'm going to take you to a lot of locations having to do with James Brown. Just ones that I chose. I believe there's a James Brown tour you can do when you come to town. That could be, maybe that was it. It's driving away now. But this is not really playing James Brown music. I don't think he made any ice cream music. James Brown, I Got You, I Feel Good. Papa's Got a Brand New Bag, Man's World, Sex Machine. So many amazing songs. One of the greatest entertainers, like I said. Without James Brown, I mean, Michael Jackson got his moves. Prince, MC Hammer, so many people admire and love James Brown. Checkered past. He did some bad things. We know that. We're just going to talk about James Brown's life in terms of visiting some interesting places right along Broad Street here. Then I'm going to take you to a couple of houses that he owned, and finally show you where he's interred, where his grave is. Let's take a look at this statue right here. There he is. It's pretty good. It's amazing. So over here, this is going to tell you a lot about him. Singer, songwriter, musician, one-of-a-kind performer, James Brown. This is known as James Brown Plaza. Has thrilled millions around the world with his hit recordings and electrifying performances. The 1983 Georgia Music Hall of Fame inductee, 1986 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee, and 2003 Kennedy Center honoree, has called Augusta home since moving here when he was 5. He moved from South Carolina, I should add. It was in Augusta's Lenox Theater that he first received recognition for his talent by winning an amateur contest. His songs have enriched the world, and his personality and generosity have enriched this city. Alright, so there's the James Brown statue. I'm going to walk down Broad Street this way and show you a couple of cool things. Then I'm going to have to go back up that way. Then we'll get to the houses. This is a cool thing right here. This is not really on any James Brown tours, but famous photo of James Brown taken at about this angle. Thanks to my friend Rain from Nerd Locations who filled me in on this spot. Taken right about here. He's hanging out on this side of the street, which now, like, there's parking, which is free parking, which is awesome. All around downtown Augusta. You don't see that too often. But there's a famous shot of him taken right here with that building in the background. Yeah, I just thought I'd throw that in there. Somewhere around here, James Brown stood. But as we go across here, the Imperial Theater, which has been around for years, the vaudeville era. But James Brown and his band used to use this as a rehearsal venue before they go out on their world tours. And they also used to do the James Brown Christmas giveaway here. Right here, the Imperial Theater. Across the street and get a little closer to School of Rock's here for 3 days. Wow. There it is. Famous marquee, Imperial Theater. Wonder if it's open. Wonder if it says anything about it here. No, it's locked up. I don't think they do tours. But yeah, there we go. Just beyond those doors would be the stage where James Brown performed many, many, many times. And we're walking. I'm going to show you something really cool this way on Broad Street. Now, I'm going to take a guess. I think this is it's James Brown Boulevard. So I'm going to take a guess at what I'm looking for. It's going to be right here to my right, and there it is. Look at that incredible mural. This is wild to see. There he is. Wow, that's incredible. Over 100 singles, 50 albums, 1963, tops chart 66 weeks. This was done by Cole Fail in 2020. Amazing work. James Brown had quite a few radio stations that he owned, and one was called The Boss. And I believe its former location will be right up here somewhere. Gotta figure out how I'm gonna get across this street. But times you could see him DJing. I guess there was a glass window. He would DJ, and his daughter Deanna. There we go. We're just gonna get across now. And look on this electrical outlet. Get some James Brown pictures printed on. That's wild. There he is. Love it. Love it. Check out this old department store. I wonder if James Brown shopped here. This is retro. This is old school. Look at that. Wow. So we're at 912 now. I'm looking for 870. So I think it's back this way. I think I always walk past it. Well, this building looks rather new. So this is where it would have been The Boss, the radio station. Huh. But right up here, where's 8th Street? Because he used to dance at the corner of 8th and Broad. Somewhere not too far from here. But these are the streets where James Brown used to dance. He was just a little kid trying to make some money. Right up and down Broad Street here. Broad Street's right there, just a couple of streets over. But here we are at the James Brown Arena. Hope we can see that in the middle of the day. It's bright. But this is where his funeral was held. Oh, Jesse Jackson, Michael Jackson. So many people in attendance. It was held right in here. Lineups around the block to get into view the casket and Mr. Brown. Hardest working man in show business. Godfather of Soul. August 22nd, 2006. That's when it was renamed the James Brown Arena. It used to be called the Augusta Richmond County Civic Center. That's very cool. Wow. Yeah, his funeral was held in here. And this is the corner of 8th and Broad. This is where they say that James Brown, when he was a little kid, used to come to this corner right here and dance. Dance for coins. Now, of course, there's that corner right there, too. But this is the intersection of 8th and Broad, and I had to see it. So I want to show you as well. So right here, past these trees, stood a theater for a very long time, an all African American venue called the Lenox Theater. And it's where James Brown got his first start. He won a talent contest when he was very young, sang a song called So Long, right here. And people are trying to get around me right now, and I'm annoying them. I think I'm trying to get the shot, and I think I'm going to get a honk. Nope. That was nice. Right here. See, some of these buildings are a little worse for the wear on this side, and they might be gone at some point too, who knows. But yeah, Lenox Theater used to stand right back there. There's a lot of speculation about James Brown's childhood home. He says it was at 944 Twig Street, and I am here now. There's a motorcycle club right there, and that house is not it. Some people say that that's where he grew up, in that house, but apparently it was this lot right here, which is overgrown, and the house is gone now. But it is on Twig Street. If you look for that motorcycle club house, it's this lot, and other people have said it sat here on this side, but it's right in this area where James Brown's childhood home was, and the river's right behind where he used to go and hide out from the police, according to him. Stories he told, breathing through a cane in the water. I don't know. And he would, this is where he lived with his Aunt Honey. But that's not his house. So this house here, I just drove up and down Parkway Drive looking for it, and it's a very distinct looking house, as you can see, and with the fence around it. It's still owned by the Brown family. I didn't look up the exact address because I wanted to see if I could find it myself, and I did. And it's really, really cool. And James Brown bought this for his father in the 60s, and at one point in the 70s, James Brown and his family lived here with his father before they moved into the next house that I'm going to show you. But this was still owned by the Brown family. Apparently, it's like a workable, usable house, and when the Brown family comes through town, they stay here. Yeah, not much going on though, from what I can tell, but you can see a sign there that says 24-hour video surveillance. This is James Brown Sr. This is his dad's house. Right here. I believe this is, I just read an article that this is going to be included on the James Brown tour that they do around the city. It may now be. I'm not sure. Now, in the 70s, after they lived at James Brown's father's house that he bought for him, they moved to this house on Walton Way. And what's really cool is you can't really see much of the house, but something that I find even cooler is you can still see the old guard shack. That's up there. Let me run across the street, see what I can see. Now, I'm not sure who lives here now. This is more like a shed now. But that's it. This is James Brown's family home for quite a long time. Like, you see part of the house back there. Right between the trees there. Looks unkempt. Kept. I'm not sure what's going on here. It's a little rough. Run down. That guard shack, though. That is just too cool. I guess it looks more like a shed now. I thought it used to look like a guard shack, but that's it. I'm not sure if anybody lives here. I know the Brown family does not own it anymore, though. There it is. Here I am at Walker Memorial Park, Walker Cemetery here in Augusta, and the office is always closed. I've called for about a week now, because there's no pin to the grave, and it's actually a really deceptive, it's big, deceptively, and it was hard. I've been walking around trying to find the grave of his third wife and his father, and I can't believe that I've actually found. You'd think it's so easy right by the entrance, but I came in that entrance, drove around, knocked on the office door, drove all the way around, walked back there, walked over there, here, And then I knew that I was looking for two bigger graves, and I cannot believe I found them. And this was inscribed by James Brown here. This is his third wife, Adrienne Lois Brown. I'm going to read this to you. She was a native of Los Angeles, California, and the wife of the Godfather of Soul, James Brown. And it's March 9th, 1950 to January 6th, 1996. She was a dedicated fighter for humanity, a lover of all people, a person who was not given the world on a silver platter, but one who had to work very long and hard for everything she accomplished in life. She was a diligent partner, a lady, a lover, and a friend. Because of the love and affection she had for her father-in-law, Joseph Pop Brown, she requested to be buried next to him here in Augusta, to be joined by her husband, James Brown, and everyone in his family. I will always have everlasting love for you, and I will never forget you. I know one day we will meet each other again. Me, you, Pop, and all of our family. We'll be together again forever. With tears in my eyes and pain in my heart, I say so long. Your Woogar, James, I love you, sugar. So maybe Woogar? Sugar? Sugar, Woogar? And trusted God, mother of James Brown, Susie Brown, the Cape Man for James Brown, Daniel Brown Ray. I did not bring rocks. I wasn't sure if they were here or not. Trust in God, mother of James Brown, died in 2004. The Cape Man, the man that would bring out the Cape, Daniel Brown Ray. Wow. And here you're going to see Joseph Pop Brown. He was a native of Barnwell, South Carolina, and the son of the late James and Mary Alice Gardner. He served in the United States Navy in World War II and the Korean War. He is the father of world-renowned entertainer James Brown. With only a second-grade education, Mr. Brown worked hard. One night, he was faced with taking his life savings in a snuff can and escaping slave ship in Barnwell, South Carolina, to find better work in Augusta, Georgia, so that he could support his family. He worked in a furniture store where he made $7 a week. He once brought home an organ with a broken leg, which sparked young James Brown to begin playing music. When the family took ill, he would walk 17 miles to town for food to keep from borrowing flour from neighbors. We love you, Pop. So it says here, to be joined by her husband, James Brown, but he is not buried here. Looks like there's definitely was room, but he was not buried here. I'm going to show you that next. Well, second next, finally. But here's his ex-wife, his third wife, and his dad and his mom and the Cape Man. That's wild. All right. Glad I got to pay my respect to them. I'm sorry to the mother of James Brown and to Daniel Brown Ray. I didn't have a rock with me. I'll be back in Augusta one day and I will bring one. All right, now I'm going to show you James Brown's mansion. What we can see of it. And I think we can see a lot. This is so cool. This is James Brown's mansion that he lived in his later years, up until his death, Christmas Day 2006. And if you put it in the GPS, it says turn left on James Brown Boulevard, and that's James Brown Boulevard. But you cannot exactly go too much further because these gates are right there. Little gatehouse. Yeah, I'll show you some pictures of what the house looks like. But this is where he spent his later years. this is just wild to see. Even just the front gates are really cool. His dream was to have it turned into something like Graceland. So I think the family still owns it. I'm not sure if that is ever going to come to fruition. I would love that. And I'd be right back here to take a tour of James Brown's house. James Brown Boulevard. Yeah, so what are these on the fence? Oh, just like a ornate design in the middle. Very cool. This is South Carolina. I went across state lines, but it's only about 10 miles from downtown Augusta, and it's about 10 miles from the town that he was born in South Carolina. So it's kind of right in the middle. Very cool. I don't think there's anybody in this little house here, but gotta be careful in this little guardhouse. I like to see what it looks like inside. See what it looks like in here. A phone, logbook, a few other things. But yeah, nobody's in here. It is so calm and peaceful out here. I love it. All right, now we're going to go see the property that is owned by his daughter, Deanna Brown. And that is where James Brown is interred. Well, there was a mausoleum for him. Should add, it's probably about maybe 6 minutes from here, I think. So very, very close. Just not sure which way I'm supposed to go. I'm going to figure that out right now. All right, so not too far, about 5-minute drive from James Brown's mansion. Up this driveway right here, just past these mailboxes, is the home of his daughter. And about 3/4 of the way up the driveway is a mausoleum. And that mausoleum is where James Brown is interred. Now, it is a restricted road because it is a driveway, but it's also quite clear that it is a restricted driveway or restricted use road. There's a fence all the way back there. You can see it. And the gates are open. But I am not going to drive up it. I'm not going to trespass. I'm going to show you on Google Maps not approximately, I'm going to show you exactly where the mausoleum is. It's up there, it's on the right. And that is where the grave of James Brown is. So it's not accessible to the public. And there was a lot of speculation after that. I mean, he wasn't interred for quite a while after he died. There was so much turmoil and turbulence within the family and the trustees of the will, that sort of thing. And at one point, even his legs were cut off for a DNA test to prove paternity of a child. And so they needed the bone marrow, because by that time the embalming fluid had taken over his body. There wasn't blood, so they used the bone marrow. And one of her daughters said, "I can't believe they cut off his legs. He's famous for his legs, for his dancing," which is so true. So there's a lot going on with the grave of James Brown. Like, apparently he was kept for a few months in a temperature-controlled room at a funeral home, and then I've heard at his mansion there was a room. I've heard at this house there was a temperature-controlled room. At one point, it was claimed that the body disappeared. That was proven false. I mean, if you think back to those times when James Brown passed away, it rivals Casey Kasem in terms of just what is going on. But he is now interred right down that road on the right. That is the final resting place of James Brown. And I can show you a little closer here, but that's it. Right down there. There's the gate. And up there on the right. Now, some people might say, well, I do have a drone, why don't you fly your drone and show us? Well, that would be trespassing as well to do that, and intrusive. And I film a lot of private homes and things for my channel, so intrusiveness is, you know. But that is a different level, and that's something I'm not comfortable doing, and I don't want to trespass. I will never trespass the United States as a Canadian citizen. At least I can show you the driveway. At least I can show you where James Brown grave is, what it looks like from above. I don't think there are any pictures online of his actual mausoleum. But let's hope that James Brown is resting peacefully. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope I showed you a lot of things that you maybe would want to see about James Brown that you don't get to see. It's a beautiful area of South Carolina, and Augusta, Georgia is beautiful as well. I can see why he chose to live in this area all his life and why he kept coming back. And it's fitting that he's halfway between where he was born and where he lived his life. It's just, yeah. I knew coming out that I would not be able to drive up that road. I'm not, even if the gate was open like it was. What am I going to do? Drive past it and get out and walk over to the mausoleum? I mean, that's somebody's private property, and it's not. The family wishes are that his grave is off limits for now. Maybe one day it won't be, and the day that his grave is accessible to the public, I will come back. Rest in peace, James Brown, Godfather of Soul. Do you know the funky drummer? You know, funky drummer is like the most sampled drum beat of all time. Doom, 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 doom. Funky drummer was used by Sinead O'Connor, George Michael, so many people. And it's James Brown. It was his drummer, but still, funky drummer. Look it up. Most sampled drum beat. Hip hop loves that James Brown sample. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Living in America. If you remember the 80s, Rocky IV, amazing song. And then Good Morning Vietnam used I Got You, I Feel Good. And that was on the soundtrack, which was a great soundtrack. So he kept having a resurgence of his career over and over again. One of the greatest of all time. All right, hardest working man in show business. Thanks for watching, everybody. Peace out.